Hello everyone and welcome back to another book review. Where today I am reviewing Pattern Recognition by William Gibson. And I'm not sure how I feel about this book. It wasn't bad or particularly awful by any means, but it wasn't very interesting either. I really don't know where this book sits with me. Let's get into this a little bit. Because this is not an indie book, I'm not going to restrain myself on spoilers. Yada, yada, yada. The same thing that I do with pretty much all traditionally published books. Or, the pseudo-classics is what I'm probably going to end up calling them. Because they're the books that everybody knows, but not everybody has read. Yeah, I think that's what I'll go with. Anyway, this book is about this girl named Case. She has this whole brand allergy thing where if a brand is particularly effective, it makes her physically ill. So people tend to hire her because she's a quote-unquote expert on brand logos, and because she just has this odd way of knowing whether or not a logo is going to be effective. And she uses her allergy to that effect, which is kind of brilliant, but also really weird that such a thing would exist, because as far as I know, such a thing does not actually exist. But it's a book. I'm willing to give it some leeway. So anyway, Case is hired on by this company called Blue Ant to see if their logo is effective. And when she tests it, she sees that it is. And then she's approached by the head honcho himself. I don't remember his name. It's been a little while since I've read this book, to be perfectly honest. Anyway, I don't really remember the head guy's name, but he asked her to find out some information on these videos that have been popping up around the internet. I think it's Found Footage Forum. I think so. I'll have to look that one up. Fetish Footage Forum. FFF for short. And, these things have been popping up. There's a pretty substantive fan base for it. There's online forums. I should also note that this book came out in the early 2000s. So that alone should give some people at least an idea as to what sort of technology we're dealing with here. Because this book doesn't take place in the future. It takes place in the present tense. So, it takes place in 2004. Which, is neat from William Gibson. The guy who brought us Neuromancer and the Difference Engine. One of those I actually do plan on reviewing. I might review the other one. Haven't decided yet. We'll see where that one goes. Anyway, she gets tasked with finding out what's going on with this footage, like where it's coming from, who's making it, so on and so forth. And because this footage seems to have a profound effect on people. It's nothing, absolutely weird or anything like that. It's just kind of emotional. People have emotional reactions to them, which is interesting. Whoever is doing it is a fairly skilled cinematographer. Anyway, so she goes all over the place. She spent some time, I believe, in Russia. She spent some time in Japan, some time in England, in France. She's all over the goddamn place, trying to find out where this stuff is coming from. And all the while, there's this bitch Dorothea who's kind of undermining her and doing all this other shit. And she eventually figures it out, and it doesn't really lead to too much because everybody else kind of figures it out too, I think. I think that's kind of how it ended. Okay, so turns out, no, she didn't actually. Nobody else actually figured it out. If they did, they followed her. I don't actually remember. But also scratch a lot of what I said. The book actually came out in 2003 and takes place in 2002. And 9/11 actually has a bit of a role to play in this because Case's father disappeared in it. And the people that she got, who are connected to the people doing the Fetish Footage Forum films, they have information as to what happened to her father. They gave it to her, and that's kind of where it ends. This is, like I said, I read this book a while back, so I'm kind of just refreshing my memory bit by bit as well. Because I really didn't care enough for this book to go back and just reread it. Because, well, let's face it, it's kind of just dull. I don't know what it is with this book. Like, there's enough of an idea there to have kept me interested to, just not give up on it. But it was dull enough that I just didn't care. Case just didn't seem to have much of a personality outside of her allergy. And Dorothea, yeah, she's pretty stereotypical mean girl, bitch, lady thing. And the head honcho guy is just kind of whatever. And then all the other side characters are just kind of whatever as well. Like, there's just nothing of any real substance for me to grab onto. There just wasn't anything there for me to really care about. And that kind of sucked. Because I wanted to like it. I really did. I'm not going to give this book a bad review. Because I'm not going to give it a bad score. But it's not going to get a good one either. This is a straight up 5 out of 10 book. I've definitely read better from William Gibson, and I hope to read more from him, just not in this particular trilogy. I wanted to like this one because I actually have a physical copy of the second one signed by him. I found it in a bookstore. It's actually kind of neat. Anyway, yeah, it's a 5 out of 10. There's just nothing of any real interest in this book for me, but it's written in a way that makes it kind of interesting at the same time. So, yeah. Have a good one, folks.